Hello, my name is Mercury, and welcome to this brand new episode of Media Buffet. Today, I am alone and I'll be discussing the first ever Legend of Zelda game, The Legend of Zelda. This is part of a series where I specifically go back and play through every single Zelda game. That sounds like a really big task, and it is. There are only two games. No, there's only one game I don't have access to, which is Four Swords Adventures. Which thankfully it's a GameCube game and will probably be put on the GameCube, the GameCube online service on Switch 2 at some point in the future. But yeah, that's the only one. And I have a Wii U, but I need to buy another one since that one's broken to shit. That one has like the weird file, like it can't read files and whatever. So I'm probably gonna have to buy another one, or potentially enough. Let's see. Okay. Just checking. It looks like I can. Okay. Yeah, it looks like I can actually play Twilight Princess. But even then, if I can't get it running, I had a Wii U and I have access to Twilight Princess HD, which is what I was gonna play, but if I can just emulate it willy-nilly on my computer and not have to deal with that, then I'll be fine. I'll be fine. Not sure how good Twilight Princess is on, probably not much of a difference between the two. What I can also hope is that before we even before I even get to Twilight Princess, before I even get to Twilight Princess, they put it on Switch. That's something I can hope for. But yeah, we are starting with I'm starting with the first one, and I played it on the NES Classic because I wanted to get the closest experience I could to the original version. Now, the NES Classic, I'm pretty sure, is an emulation device. It is not. It is official Nintendo hardware, and I still have it. Unfortunately, SNES games, I'm gonna have to play through the Switch Online service. I do not have the SNES Classic, but I do have the NES one, which I use to play Zelda, Metroid, and I'm gonna use to play Zelda 2. I know that if nobody reads those, but if you go on my backlog, if you go through my fucking Metroid rant, you'll know what I'm gonna say in that episode. I'm doing the same for Metroid, actually. Metroid has less games. I'm doing the same for Metroid. I'm gonna go through every single Metroid game. Again, there's not a lot of them. So, that'll be a much shorter series. But yeah, Zelda has a lot of games, and I'm counting like Hyrule Warriors and Kings of Hyrule. Does that mean I'm gonna do Necrodancer episodes? Probably. At some point, I'm gonna do Necrodancer episodes. That's gonna be cool. I don't do rhythm games. It's gonna be real with you. I don't play rhythm games. I'm gonna have to get better at them. I'm very tone deaf. But yeah, Zelda 1 started it all. It was one of the most popular NES games. I don't know what the sales. Zelda 1 sales. Let's see. Zelda for NES sold 6.5 million copies worldwide. 6th best-selling NES game. This is best-selling NES games. Here we go. Games bundled with the console during its lifetime. That makes sense. 40 million for Super Mario Bros. That's insane. Oh, but yeah. Zelda is number 6 at 6.5 million. And where the fuck is Metroid? At 2 million. Almost 3. But yeah. Became one of the best-selling games of the console, one of the top 10. And spawned this franchise. So I went to go back and play through every single game from before Breath of the Wild and going into Breath of the Wild and going like after Breath of the Wild, which will be its own separate series, which I believe, well, it will start at some point in the future with the DLC for Breath of the Wild. Breath of the Wild. For Breath of the Wild, and then we'll go into like Hidden Hyrule and all that shit. So stay tuned for that. I will be playing. So yeah, I'll be playing through like Master Mode or whatever the hell it's called. I think it's called Master Mode, and I'll be playing through Champions Ballad and like the one-hit obliterator challenge. God damn it! I'm glad that's the only DLC I'm gonna have to play for that game. So yeah, I mentioned this back in the Breath of the Wild episode where I was going to do this, or the Metroid episode. I'm not sure. But I recently added all the spin-off games. So that will include like I guess Hyrule Warriors. I'm not gonna make Age of Imprisonment a new episode. I'm not gonna change. I already made all the thumbnails. I'm not gonna change it. It'll just be part of like that the list of games after Breath of the Wild. And before the new game, we are getting a Zelda Ocarina of Time remake in the next 4 months at most. It looks like it. So yeah, I'm very excited. If we do, I think we'll get an episode out on the original one before that one comes out. If I don't, fucking go away for another 4 months, which I can promise isn't happening. I mean. 3 episodes. I released the Doom episode because it was our first one in a while. I want to like get something out to make sure like, hey, you guys have been waiting for a while. We have I put that out. If you guys hear any birds in the background, in June, my neighbors got 2 like parrots. I'm pretty sure they don't stop squawking. They just don't stop. It is every day, through every part of the day, through like every hour. It just plainly sucks. And it annoys me to an absurd degree. But guess what? I cannot deliver it. I can't do much about that. I can't wait for them to stop because they just don't stop. But yeah, let's get into the game. No other podcaster makes you. That's a fucking foul word to describe myself as. I am a reviewer. That's also fucking foul. No other content creator makes you wait 8 minutes to get into the actual meat of an episode, aside from like Wendigoon or Nexpo or Nick Crowley. But yeah, let's just get into it. Starting off, what we always start off with, the visuals. Guys, it's a fucking NES game. It's a fucking NES game. When I review when I go into retro episodes, I like to go into them knowing that these games are 40 years old now. I was about to say 30, but no, these games are 40 years old. Zelda's turning 40. Zelda turned 40 this year. Right? Yeah, February 21st, 1986. It turned 40 this year. So, hey. Hey, like with Pokemon. I think it sometimes delaying shit turns out better. No. Not really. but yeah, you need, like, it's not gonna, like I said with Pokemon. I like to, okay. I like to just think of myself in the times. I like to look at it for the time, like at the time, what it was, for what it was. And same thing with Pokemon. And then a Game Boy has like the same processing power as an NES, to my knowledge, which is insane. But I mean, I wouldn't. You can put the full fucking. You can run NES games on a fucking like Nokia phone. I'm pretty sure. So it's not like the Game Boy Advance could run SNES games. It's really not surprising. Yeah, the game itself, for the time and for the console, it did its best. Like, this game isn't going to have the best graphics in the world, but at least with what they were with the technology at the time, they managed to make something that looks fucking cohesive and you know what you're looking at least. Like, when you look at an Octorok, yeah, you see it's a land octopus that shoots rocks at you. You look at a Moblin and you're like, yeah, that's a monster. That's like a big monster. You look at a Gibdo, it's like, yeah, it's a mummy. Like, Nintendo games on NES they had a little bit more graphic fidelity to them than some, or at least more it feels like they had like more care put into them to make shit look like something. So I gotta give them that. Like, the swords look like swords, shields look like shields. I know that's a fucking weird thing to say, but we're dealing with NES. This is NES. This is like Atari time, you know, like this. Like, some things are like, what the, like, some games are like, you're just like what the fuck am I looking at? It's like, that doesn't look anything like that. But yeah, like, this game, you know what you're looking at. So I gotta give them that, and its style. This game doesn't look like Super Mario Bros. They managed to do that with a bunch of with just some pixels, like not some pixels, like just some very low quality low fidelity assets compared to what we have now. Like, they managed to make something look cohesive and look like something, which is admirable for the time. And yeah, like, that's pretty much the extent of my thing. Like, it has its own style. Like, this game, you can put Mario, you can put Metroid next to it. Like, they don't look the same. Obviously, they don't play the same. I mean, a better comparison would be Metroid and Mario, since they're both side scrollers. But even then, they don't look the same at all, even though they're made on the same hardware by the same developers, right? R&D4, R&D4, R&D1. Okay, they're made by different studios, but they're still like in-house Nintendo. Or even then, Super Mario Bros. And Zelda be made by the same parts of Nintendo. Like, they don't look the same at all. So yeah, like, it's still impressive what they managed to do with very little at this time. Of course, I gotta mention it here. I think the NES has a problem with rendering shit. Like, it's even on the NES Classic. The bug is still there. I know, because I have a friend who I think has an NES, or at least has played on an NES, and he says, "Oh yeah, that's just a problem the NES has," and that's that. At some point, the game loads too many enemies, and it just staggers. It just stutters so much. Which I know, obviously, technology wasn't there to render, like to render and spawn in a lot of stuff and make it run good. But it's present in Zelda, and it's especially present in Metroid, which again I will get into 3 episodes from now. I'm saying that because I don't know when I'm gonna record Metroid. Hopefully it's this week. I say that and then here goes 5 months without an episode. Watch this. I'll break the record once again. Yeah, but yeah. Visuals are good for their time. Let's move on to the gameplay. Okay, there's a lot I can talk about here. It's like the most. It is the foundation of Zelda gameplay. Let's get that out. It's the foundation of Zelda gameplay. It's like for its time, it's impressive. Like a lot of games weren't exactly action games. Like in here, a lot of games like this were like it was mostly like Mario Bros, which is more of a platformer and all that. Tetris, there's Dragon Quest, which right, where's that Dragon Quest 1? Where is it? There it is. That came out after Zelda. Where's Final Fantasy actually? That's Final Fantasy. Did Final Fantasy not sell as much as 3? Am I being lied to? There's Mega Man as well. Also, a lot of these games came out for like arcades. Some of these are like adapted from that like thing. Oh, here's Final Fantasy. December 1987. Okay. Never mind. But yeah, there were not a lot of like action games by this point, so having one and having it work the way it did, I think is fun. Having like so many items do different things and shit, that's fun. And that goes into my first point, which is exploration. Gonna be real, I used the guide. I used the guide to finish to beat the play through this game because the game does something really interesting, and that's that. It's essentially meant to be played almost like a multiplayer game, but not really. It is a single player game where a lot of things you can beat it however you want. Like you have to go through the dungeons in order and do certain things in there, but you can go to you have to like get the Triforce pieces. But, like, you can just go in there raw and beat it that way, but you're not gonna have a fun time doing it. You can go around the world and find items and, like, use items on shit. And that's fun. It is what Zelda eventually grew to be, and it not grew to be, but, like, improved upon in later entries. So that's cool. Like, it's here, and it's like, and especially in Breath of the Wild. Breath of the Wild, I feel like, is almost like a reinvention of this game. Like, I feel like I think I remember, like, they wanted to have that, like, that feeling again of what the first game did, where it's exploration. You, like, go things, and you're like, oh, I can use this here, and I can bomb this wall, and all that shit. Like, that's what they wanted to, like that feeling they wanted to bring back, which is cool. And I feel like they did a very well job going from Breath of the Wild straight to Zelda 1. And you still you like see it. And I that's cool. However, there are some bullshit in here that I don't even know how you would think to achieve like some very, very important locations in the story are through you. I don't think you could find without a guide. And I know, from what I know, like people back then, they had Nintendo Power. I'm pretty sure the game as a whole came with a guide, an instruction manual, and like gave out hints and what you needed to do. So I get that even back then, people played this game assisted. But one of the main game components was let like you playing this game, like you talk to the people who have played the game and they tell you like, oh, I found this here, I used this here, and yada yada yada. Like that's like it's like word of mouth. Like you are exploring this world and this person told you this and you go there and you find it or you don't. That's cool. That's really cool. It's one of like I think it's one of the first like instances of a really, I think, well crafted open world game. And the only reason that it would be kind of hard to play now without a guide is because I don't think you were meant to play without a guide. I don't think you were ever meant to play without a guide. The guide was supposed to be your help through this world, your map, your like everything. Like it's. I feel like, like you're meant to be like an adventurer trying to like go through the world and shit. Like, and I like that. I like that. But again, there are things that probably some kid out there who either didn't have the manual, didn't have friends to talk to, or maybe some guy who played it years later, before like the age of the internet, and before all this shit got cataloged, and before there were any like guides anywhere, and just got completely lost, dropped the game, and didn't know what to do. Like, yeah, there are instances here where getting 100% in this game is not difficult. It's not like Metroid, or any Metroid game really. I did a Metroid Dread like 100%, and it's so annoying. It's so unbelievably annoying to do. But in here in Zelda, it's not hard to 100%. I don't think it is. What is hard to to do is like not want to pull your hair out trying to find locations and shit. It's so hard. Something else that makes you want to pull your hair out are the enemies in this game. There are ways to deal with a lot of enemies, and there are a lot of different enemy types. The enemy types in this game are built with absolute fucking hatred. There are some enemies that I feel like are built with hatred. Like, the developers hated you in specific. It's so weird. Like, okay. There are rooms in dungeons. Some of the dungeons in the game are fine. Like, they're not terrible, but they're normal dungeons and whatever the fuck. There are parts in later dungeons that are just filled with some bullshit, like Dark Nuts, bro. Oh my fucking god, Dark Nuts. They are normal enemies that you have to attack from the sides. But in a lot of fucking rooms, they're just a lot of them, and it's so annoying. It's so annoying. And like, there's the bubbles and the likes, and like the bubbles like take away your sword, so you're fucking doing nothing. It's so annoying. It's so annoying. And there's another. I forgot what their name was, but it's like at the end of the dungeons, like it spins in. It does an attack that spins in circles around the whole fucking screen almost, and you're like, you try to fucking dodge it. It's so hard. It's so unbelievably hard to dodge. God. The enemies in this, some of them are fine. Like Lionels, surprisingly Lionels, which traumatized almost every Breath of the Wild player that I know, aren't even that bad in this game. They really aren't. They're really not that bad in this game. Sure that they still deal a lot of damage, but they're manageable. they're manageable in this game. But man, couple that with like a with like takes away your shield. Fucking couple that with especially baubles. You see those shits and you, oh no, and the mages and the wizrobes. The wizrobes are my most hated enemy. There are times in dungeons, and like specifically in Death Mountain. Death Mountain was when the difficulty like went up. Like in some other dungeons, there were rooms that were made for hatred. Death Mountain was like the biggest fuck you of all time. It was made with hatred, like with pure. I don't even know what like another synonym for it. Just pure malice. There we go. Pure malice. There are multiple rooms in Death Mountain where it's just fucking Wizrobes, and they are the most annoying thing to battle in the fucking game because they teleport all over. They're fucking like they do a shit ton of damage. They just suck. They just suck so much ass. They made the game so unenjoyable. They just suck. They make you want to contemplate suicide. God, it feels like fucking self-harm. It feels like you're torturing yourself with this game. Yeah, no, the enemies, which are the main, again, like, that's mainly the thing you're going to be going in the dungeon and fighting a lot of enemies. Or fighting enemies to get to get different materials. In the overworld itself, they're not that bad. There's only like a few enemies you're fighting. Like it's mostly Octoroks. There's some of the flying bitches around somewhere. There's Gyptos in the desert. There's Moblins around, but they're not difficult to deal with. Like, yeah, you're not gonna be dealing with a lot of really bad enemies on the overworld. It's just the dungeons that are just so fucking ass. That are just so unbelievably ass. And still talking about enemies, the bosses in this game are laughable. They are laughable. The first 5 dungeons, I'm pretty sure have like unique bosses, but then after that they just start fucking reusing them. Like there's a boss like the Aquaman Sister is the first boss. You can beat it by bombing it 4 times or like 3 times or some shit like that. Like it's not hard to beat. Then you fight it again, and it's the exact same fucking fight. You fight Gleeox like 3 times, and that one's the hardest, but it's still like very easy. Goma is like the big spider monster, and Goma, all you do is shoot its eye and it dies immediately. It's so like nothing. It's just nothing. Like the bosses here are nothing. They're so easy compared to the dungeons, and I don't know if they made it that way. So like, because the dungeons were already so hard. I'm not sure if they made it that way because of that, but I like to believe it is. It is why they made it that way. Yeah, no, the bosses are something else, man. They're so easy compared to the enemies, which is insane because, bosses are supposed to be like the big test of the dungeon, and here they're not. They are just not. And sometimes they're used just for enemies, like Dodongo, like King Dodongo. There's a part in, I think, like one of the later dungeons where you fight 3 of them, and all you do is bomb them. That's it. All you do is bomb them. Like, oh no, King Dodongo. You fight 1 and you bomb it twice, like in the second dungeon, and then you're done with the fight. It's like, okay. Like, there's another one called the Manhandler, which again, the best way to deal with it is just bombing all of its heads when you get the clear shot. And it becomes a normal enemy. Sure, kind of like a mini boss. But still, like, it becomes like a normal enemy later down the line. It's like, you're just left like, what the fuck? You are just kind of left with like, just, what the fuck, why? Oh, the bosses are something else. They really, really are. Yeah, okay. But yeah, no, that's really the gameplay loop here. It's losing. I do like the exploration. It's just like the enemies are so ass, and you don't really know where you're going. It's like the red and blue shit where you just don't know where you're going. But like in here, it's like if you memorize it, sure. But it's I think it's a lot more difficult to memorize than like Kanto is. So yeah, you're still not gonna have a great time without a guide. I feel like you can complete red and blue without a guide some like, in some places you probably should look something up, but you can still probably get through it willy nilly, just not willy nilly, like just normally. But yeah, no, this game is something else. And this game came out like this game came out 10 years before Pokemon Red and Blue. So yeah. Next up is the story, which it's an NES game. It's not gonna have the best story or any story really. It's like, oh, Ganon is here and he took the princess and split the Triforce so you wouldn't get all the power and shit. And now you have to find the Triforce and save Princess Zelda. That's the extent of the story. To my knowledge, this game is supposed to be like one of the last games of the Fallen Hero timeline, which makes sense. I think that makes sense since it's kind of like a very normal story. It's just the most basic ass like Zelda story there is. So I really can't fault it for that since I didn't think it would even go to become such a big franchise. So I don't fault them for making a story that's not supremely like in depth about shit. So yeah, like I don't mind that the story isn't all that, really. What I would like to see in the future, I'm not gonna talk about the future of this shit, but something I would like to see in the future now that Nintendo's kind of doing some remakes here and there. Like they did this the Star Fox remake, which I played. I actually have it physically thanks to the Amazon deals that they have, where if you pre-order the game, they will have it $10 off. Like they'll have it at the price that digital is, so that's cool. Yeah, I used that and I played through Star Fox and I really do like it. I'll do an episode on it, obviously, but yeah. But something I would like to see is kind of a reimagining of Zelda 1. Now, I know Breath of the Wild is essentially a reimagining of the game, but like an actual reimagining of Zelda 1, Like grabbing what's in here and making a new game on top of that, I feel like that would be cool. Now that we're getting, Star Fox remake and Ocarina of Time remake, which I hope that the Ocarina of Time remake is one, made by Nintendo themselves, and two, does something, isn't just a remake of Ocarina of Time. I hope it's more than that. I hope it does more than just another remake, because we have 3D for that. We already have a remake of Ocarina of Time. It's 3D. If they wanted to just make a new one, just port 3D. Just port 3D. It's not that hard. But yeah. We're doing that, and there's leaks. I don't like to talk about leaks a lot here because I love leaks. I talk a lot about leaks, but not on the podcast because some things just aren't confirmed. But I think this one is they're doing a Super Metroid remake. At least I think Mercury's team is doing a Metroid Super Metroid remake. So yeah, Nintendo's experimenting with remakes a lot more than they were previously. No, I think it's the same pace that they were previously, really. So yeah, no, I feel like them doing a reimagining of Zelda 1, I feel like could be cool to see. In the same style as kind of like Stranger of Paradise from Final Fantasy, where they took the bare bones story of Final Fantasy 1 and then made a new game on top of that. That'd be cool to see. I feel like Nintendo could take a lot of advice from Final Fantasy and how they handled their old games. Since I feel like Ocarina of Time remake should probably be a little bit like the FF7 remake trilogy, and I feel like they could do a Zelda 1 reimagining like Stranger of Paradise. Sure, from what I know, people have mixed opinions on Stranger of Paradise, but Like, it'd be cool to see Nintendo try that, try their own hand at that. Try their own hand at that. So yeah, with that being said, Zelda 1 for the NES is a very good stepping stone and definitely something that's revolutionary for the franchise as a whole, for like gaming as a whole, really. And honestly, I feel like it's very good for what it is. Obviously, it's not gonna be like the best thing ever, but still, very good, very solid. I'm gonna give it a B tier. Even with all its flaws, it still has a lot of flaws and a lot of things that a lot of things I don't like about it. But it's still very good. It's still very enjoyable. So yeah, I'm gonna give it a B tier. So yeah, what did you guys think about the first Zelda game? Leave in the comments below if you played it. It's a pretty available overall. But yeah, if you played it, leave in the comments below. Leave your thoughts in the comments below. If you like the episode, you can like it on Spotify. You can like it on Spotify. No, you can like it on YouTube or rate us on Spotify. And if you didn't like it, then you dislike it on YouTube. Rate us poorly on Spotify. If you want to stay up to date with our content, you can subscribe on YouTube or follow us on Spotify or follow us on our socials. We also post all of our episodes, all of our episodes announcements, like when they come out there. And if you want to follow all of our socials, the people who are working and hosting these episodes, they're also all in the description, including my review sites where you can see early reviews for a lot of things I'm going to cover on the podcast or things that are related to things I'm going to cover on the podcast. So yeah, that's about it. See ya.